Right. Good morning, everyone online. Welcome. And good morning, everyone here. All right. So let's begin. We can take our thumbs and put them in our fingers, and we can let our hands rest on our thighs. And if you'd rather your hands be in a different mudra, that's fine. So just finding a comfortable place to sit. And beginning as we always begin by bringing our awareness to the three treasures, the Jing, the Qi, and the Shen. The body, the breath, and the mind. And taking them one at a time, beginning with the Jing, with the body, the earth. So just tuning into the sensations of your alignment, your weight, the substance, and maybe even allowing that weight or that gravity of the earth to allow things to settle. Allowing things to ground. And again, just attuning to the body and to the alignment of the body, the physical sensations, any areas of spaciousness, any areas of restriction, the sensation of your clothes against your skin, all of these things, just ways of helping us to attune to the body, to the present. And maintaining an awareness of our bodies, we can expand our awareness to include the second treasure, the Qi, the breath. So I'm tuning into the subtler sensations within the body, the movement of the breath energy, the beating of the heart, the movement of the blood, feeling into the universe around us, the universe within us. The exchange between the two. And as you breathe, just noticing how the breath energy moves through the body, moving into the areas of spaciousness, or inviting it into the areas where there's restriction. Allowing the inhalation to help you to refine and expand your alignment. And as you relax on the exhalation, seeing if you can maintain that expanded alignment. What does that feel like? And as we attune to the body and the breath, the third treasure, the Shen, or the mind, is already corrected or attuned to the breath and the body. So with this spaciousness, just noticing the focus of the mind, whether it's on the breath and the body, how it moves, where it goes, or perhaps even just noticing the space around the focus of the mind, the expansive, choiceless awareness. And there's always the invitation to direct the focus of the mind to the sensations of the body, to the movement of the breath. And maintaining this quality of attunement, we can bring our hands together and gently rub our palms together, maintaining an awareness of our alignment and breathing and focus, generating some heat in our hands. Heat is energy. Energy is a common translation for qi. Building some qi in our hands so that we can begin our self-massage. So let's take a nice deep breath in and exhale, shake it out. And then rubbing the palms together and maybe gently massaging one hand with the other. The pinky edge of the hand and the base of the thumbs and the front and the back of the palms. And if there's any areas that are asking for any extra attention on your hands, your wrists, your fingers, give them some extra attention. There is a microsystem of the whole body on your hands. So just rubbing the palms together, massaging one hand with the other, this is a form of medicine, of self-care, of self-stewardship. And then, when you're ready, another deep breath in. And out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing with the whole body. And then let's bring our hands to our face, and we can gently massage our faces. And you can go up and out if you'd like. If moving in a different direction or a different speed feels good, then do that. Feel free to try different things. Experiment, explore. Find what feels good. And do what feels good. And then from here, we can just bring our fingertips up and over our scalps. And you can massage the scalp, and you can go front to back. You can go back and forth. You can spend extra time anywhere that feels like it would like some extra time on your scalp. You can be very gentle, you can be very vigorous. Again, try different ways of doing it. Maybe it all feels good, maybe some feels better than others. Get to know what you like. What you like may change, and that's okay. Try different speeds. Notice how you respond. And whenever you're ready, your hands can slide down the back of your neck, and then just gently coming around the base of the neck. Let's take another deep breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing into every cell of the body. Feeling into your physical sensations, the sensation of your alignment between the earth and the sky. Feel the breath energy moving through your body, where it moves, how it moves, where it doesn't. Allow that to be the focus of your mind. And then we'll take our palms and we'll make forward circles over our ears. You can also move past your ear and then fold your ear forward as you drag your hands over it. And when you're ready, we can make little Spock fingers and put some fingers in front and behind the ears and just massage up and down. And then again, we can go past our ears and then fold them over. And then take a nice deep breath in. And shake them out. Rubbing the palms together. There's a whole system of acupuncture that focuses just on the ears. They actually use ear acupuncture as anesthesia for minor surgeries in China. Ear acupuncture in the US is used quite a bit for treating symptoms of PTSD and just high stress. So massaging the ears is also medicine. Let's do our self-shoulder massage. So beginning with the left arm, we'll swing it up to the right shoulder, and then it can just fall away, and we'll do the other side. Just letting gravity do most of the work. Maybe bringing some intention into your hand as it swings up to your shoulder, and just see if just thinking about your hand or being with your hand as it's landing on your shoulder, if that changes how things feel. I notice sometimes it changes the sound that it makes. You can also feel into the sensation of the hand landing on the shoulder and what happens. Is there a vibration that travels down through your body or across to the other shoulder or somewhere else or something else? There's no one thing that's supposed to happen, but the invitation is to notice what happens. Notice your reaction to what happens. Feel free to adjust the pace that you're going at, finding your pace, your rhythm. Let's do one more on each side. Nice breath in and shake it out. Rubbing the palms. And let's continue on with the shoulders and the chest. So our alternative chest opening option today, I need to take my left hand to my right elbow because I have a right shoulder injury, so you can feel free to do that, but we can pat along the top of the shoulder where our hand was just landing, and then slowly just working your way down, like above the collarbone and even on the collarbone, and then working down underneath the collarbone. And at this point, if you're doing a soft fist, and if that's working, that's fine. If you want to make beak fingers to get a little more specific, you can do that. And just working along that bottom edge of the collarbone, close to the sternum, and then out towards the shoulder joint. Remembering to breathe as you do this. Out near the shoulder joint, we're near the beginning of the lung meridian. As we move along the bottom of the collarbone, we're moving over the stomach meridian and close to the kidney meridian, right off the edge of the sternum. And if you'd like, you can work down the edge of the sternum, in between the rib spaces. As you move down over the heart, you may find some rib spaces that feel a little tender. So feel free to adjust how hard you're tapping so that you can continue tapping without feeling too much discomfort. But if there is a little tightness or tension, just feeling into that, breathing into that space, bringing with your action here, with your massage, bringing some awareness into these areas. That can sometimes be a little armored. Breathing into the space around your heart, working down the edge of the sternum, down to the lower ribs, maybe even working down to that edge of the bottom rib, just off of the sternum, in the area of the solar plexus. Again, just working along that bottom edge of the rib, maybe down along the edge of the rib so that we're moving from the kidney meridian down onto the liver meridian, along the edge of the diaphragm. And as you're ready, you can work your way back up to the edge of the sternum and working your way back up in between the rib spaces, up to the bottom of the collarbone and out towards the shoulder joint. And then if you'd like, you can just use your hand and massage that area, soothing things. Continuing to breathe and to feel. change sides. So if you'd like, you can support your elbow with your hand, and starting on the top of the shoulder muscle of the trapezius, and working down into that space above the collarbone, which may be fairly tender. So again, be gentle. And even working along the collarbone itself, then underneath the collarbone, and breathing. Underneath the collarbone near the shoulder joint, this lung point, the name is called the cloud gate. And so as you're tapping here, just breathing in, it's like you're standing on a mountaintop and the clouds, you're like socked in with the clouds, and then the cloud gate opens. The clouds clear. There's this open expanse of sky and a view for hundreds of miles, and you can breathe in all of that space. And working along the bottom of the collarbone towards the edge of the sternum, and again working down along the edge of the sternum, taking your time to feel into those rib spaces, spending extra time anywhere where there might be some tenderness, some armoring. This is the upper kidney meridian. The whole kidney meridian is a description of the evolution of consciousness, and the upper kidney meridian is elevated consciousness. And it's in the area of the heart. The kidney meridian is a water meridian. The heart is a fire element. So we're bringing water into the area of fire to temper the fire so it doesn't burn too hot, but not putting it out either, just helping it to be a steady flame. Maybe even creating some steam that can spread and nourish and soothe our minds and our emotions, our bodies. Helping to bring forth that aspect of elevated consciousness with a broader perspective that goes beyond just our own personological self. And working down the edge of the sternum, down to the edge of that bottom rib in the area of the solar plexus, which can sometimes feel tender. Working along the edge of that bottom rib in the area of the diaphragm, the liver organ on the right side, the liver meridian on both sides. And then feel free to, as you're ready, work your way back up along the edge of the sternum and out underneath the collarbone, out towards the shoulder. And when you're ready, you can then just use your palm to massage, to soothe, to nourish. And then let's take both hands and we can do our little gorilla pat over the chest. Feel free to breathe deeply. Feel free to make sounds, however feels good. You can yell like Tarzan if you know how to do that. Just a sigh of relief if that's what feels good. We can do one together so we don't have to be embarrassed. And then moving the hands down over the lower ribs, and we can just massage our lower ribs and then onto the belly. One hand can come over the chest and the other can be over the belly. And if it feels appropriate, you can Switch which hand is above and which hand is beneath, and eventually you can work both hands together so that you can make circles over your abdomen, and you can move in one direction and the other direction, and maybe one way feels more appropriate than the other way. Maybe both ways feel okay. Find out. What does it feel like to you? If you'd like, you can even make small circles within a bigger circle. And as we do this, I invite you to think about the organs that are inside your body. They are there, functioning in ways that we don't understand. And so we can offer gratitude to our organs for doing what they do, even if we don't fully understand how they do it, or even why they do it. But thank you, liver and heart and lungs and pancreas and stomach and spleen and large and small intestines and urinary bladder and reproductive organs and mesentery and omentum. We can move our hands around our waists to the areas of our lower back, our lower ribs and our kidneys and our adrenal glands, and the lumbar spine and the SI joint and the sacrum, and so much to be grateful for. And then as you're ready, let's draw our hands out, shake them out, rubbing the palms together, breathing. Now let's massage our arms, beginning with the left arm, a little tap to the fingertips, and then up the outside and down the inside. Going with the flow of the meridians on the body. Feeling how this feels. You can go slow, you can go fast, you can use heavy pressure, you can use very light pressure. Again, try different things. Feel what it feels like. Notice your response. And we can come up one more time and then down, tap the fingertips, changing sides, up the outside, down the inside. The yin meridians travel from the chest down the inside of the arm, helping to move what's inside outside. And the yang meridians travel from the fingertips up the outside of the arm onto the head and the face, bringing the outside in to our ears and eyes and nose and mouth. So just facilitating this exchange of coming and going, in and out, allowing things to move so they don't get stuck, they don't accumulate, weigh us down, clog us up. And then up one more time, and down. Deep breath in, and out. Rubbing the palms together, and then we can bring our feet out in front of us. And we can use our thumbs to massage the bottoms of our feet. We can use our fingers to work in between the long bones on the top of our feet. And in between those long bones, there may be some zingers. And so if you find one of those, be gentle, but maybe give just some extra attention to those spots. You can also squeeze and pinch and massage the edge of your foot that's facing up towards you. Just like our hands and our ears, the feet are a microsystem of the whole body. So If you feel some tenderness or an area that just wants some extra attention, give that area some extra attention. It's very possible that it corresponds to somewhere else in your body that also is asking for attention. And as you're ready, you can follow the funnel down onto the bottom, on the bottom of the foot. It's finding the deepest hollow. And if you'd like to apply some gentle pressure to that spot, you can. This is the first acupoint on the kidney meridian, the wood point. It's like our taproot that connects us to the earth. The name of the point in English is the bubbling spring, drawing the yin energy of the earth up into our bodies, where it is alchemized into yang energy, allowing us to stand, to walk, to move, to express ourselves, our will. And then from here, we can bring our hands up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. Again, going with the flow of the meridians. And just like as we did on the arms, you can go fast, you can go slow, heavy pressure, light pressure. And let's come up one more time, and then around and down and out. You can return to a comfortable seat. We'll take a nice deep breath in and shake it out. Rubbing the palms together one more time for now. We can take our thumbs and tuck them back into our fingers. Our hands can rest back on our thighs. And again, return your awareness to the three treasures. Feel your body and the alignment of your body. Breathe with your whole body. Breathe through your whole body. Notice how the breath energy moves, where it doesn't move. And remember your intention. Whether that's your intention for being here today, for practicing, your intention for being in general. Allow that to inform and infuse your body. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. All right. I wasn't intending that to be so long, but it was. All right. Any questions about anything? Yes.
So, in addition to what we've done, what are some other ways to care for the kidneys?
To care for the kidneys? Well, so, the kidneys are the water element, and water, when it's left to its own devices, tend to settle and be still. And so stillness is something that's very helpful for the kidneys. Not overextending ourselves, You know, the spirit of the kidneys is associated with the will and with volition, and that has to do in part to, you know, like the adrenaline response, the fight or flight. That's like the will to survive. Like, I'm going to run from this bear because I want to keep living. And so it's like being able to tune in to like, when are we kind of running on that kind of energy, and when is that energy actually not really necessary, especially nowadays in modern culture. It's like, you know, we're watching news and it's like, rah, adrenaline energy, you're sitting in traffic or however. So attending to that, because the energy that comes from the kidneys up and out, it's like a water spout, like the kidney meridian rising up and out this way. And so when that's going on, that's what can deplete us and wear us down. And that water energy gets used up, and then we end up getting dry and hard and rigid. And like we use the phrases we use in modern times, like I'm feeling fried, I'm feeling burnt out, all of these things. It's like not enough moisture, not enough calm. And internal hydration has very much to do with stillness and with recognizing, when am I pushing too hard? When am I just on autopilot that's set to a setting that's maybe higher than is appropriate? And can I take a couple breaths? Can I come back into my body? Can I feel the bones in my body, which are the tissues of the kidneys, to allow the awareness to sink deep and to ground? And rather than this energy coming up and sprouting out, can we redirect it back down into this ocean of the lower Dantian and into the Hara, and like breathing into there and then being replenished, allowing the water in the well to come back up. Again, it's like, I feel like so much of our vocabulary is already oriented to this wisdom. We just need to have it pointed out sometimes. Anything else? Okay, great. So I have a Chinese word of the day. Last week we talked about the word for the virtue of fire, because again, we're right around the summer solstice, so we're kind of talking about that. So last week's word was li, having to do with like rites and rituals and propriety, because the heart is all about doing the right thing at the right time, being attuned to reality, to the present moment, and so just allowing that to come forward, not as a function of the intellectual mind, but as a function of just pure consciousness. So this word is E. It's with a Y, but it's really just like letter E if we're spelling it phonetically. This word means intention. And there's a saying in a lot of Qigong practices, a lot of, Asian mindfulness practices, Yi Dao, Qi Dao. Where the mind goes, or where the intention goes, the Qi goes. So what we're thinking about, what we're focusing on, that's what tends to manifest, whether it's emotionally, intellectually, even physically. And so, I think nowadays especially, focusing our intention or being clear on what our intention is important, because our intention, I feel like, is being hijacked all the time from so many different places. It's like, look at this, focus on that, be angry about this, buy that thing, all of this. And so to what extent are we even kind of, directing our own intention? And so the word, the character, is made up of 3 radicals. And so this is the character for to build or to make. And it's often used in the context of like making music, like we're creating something. This is the character or the radical for the sun. And then this is the radical for the heart mind. And so we're building the sun in our heart mind. Or we're building the sun being a representation of like universal light, universal awareness, building that in our heart mind. And so that's like, intention isn't so much like a specific type of thing, like I'm intending this. It's more of like a quality of awareness in this context, in the Chinese context. And so this time of year, and this whole year of the fire horse, which corresponds to the summer solstice, so the whole year is the summer solstice. We're in the summer solstice of the year of the summer solstice. And so again, this is a great opportunity. We talked early on, the year of the fire horse. Horses get us very far, very fast. They're all about transformation. Fire is about transformation. Fire horse is like, jumping on a comet and flying through space. So what is the intention? Because if we're not clear about our intention, or if our intention, because we always have an intention, whether we know it or not. And so what is the intention? And how often can we bring that back into our awareness and align with that and attune to it and allow that to just be a quality of being so that as things are happening, we can be grounded and centered. This is actually the virtue of the earth element. And so we've talked about how, fire has a tendency to just keep rising and going out of control. But in the cycle of the elements, it's the gravity of earth that pulls fire down along a natural trajectory, a balanced trajectory. And so to be intentional with what we're doing, moment to moment, even in what we might consider to be mundane things, this is a way of establishing a kind of centeredness and groundedness and intentionality that leads to a kind of rhythm, which is the metal element, which that rhythmic aspect of being helps to establish a kind of stillness, which brings us back to the water element. And so again, in the year of the fire horse, earth, metal, and water are really important to cultivate within ourselves. So intentionality, rhythms, stillness. So that's the word of the day. Anything about that? Questions, comments?
I spelled Dao. You said
So,
Yi-Dao, Qi-Dao.
Yi-Dao, Qi-Dao. Yeah, so it's spelled two ways because this is how Chinese spell things. And so when we Romanize it, originally it was Romanized in a form which is called the Wade-Giles form of pinyin. They spelled it with a T. And and so you'll see it a lot like that, like Tao De Jing, But they were really good at kind of getting us to speak the tones of certain words, but they sometimes aren't the actual word even close to it. Like Peking, if you've ever heard of Peking, like that's the Wade-Giles version of spelling Beijing. But when we see king, we're always going to pronounce it king. We won't say king. But you see Beijing, a lot of people say Beijing. You say Jing to a Chinese person, they won't know what you're talking about because they are hearing the tone. But if you say king, they'll be like, oh, I know that word. So that's where it's tricky. So Wade-Giles spells it with a T. The Chinese then eventually came up with their own form of pinyin as they opened up to the rest of the world. And so they spell it with a D because it is more of like a duh kind of sound. So yeah, that's a whole other lecture. Yeah, Wade-Giles and pinyin. Yeah, so you might see it with a D, you might spell it with a T. I generally spell it with a D just because that's the language, that's the way the people whose language it is, that's how they spell it. So I'm going to spell it their way. Yeah. Okay, great. Enough talking. Now let's practice. And thanks again on Zoom, everyone, being here. All right, so summer solstice is, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, kind of right around then. So we're in it, and we've talked about this seasonal node, grain in beard or grain in ear. It's the 2 weeks before the summer solstice, so super yang energy building, getting ready to crescendo, and then slowly start to move towards the vernal equinox, the autumn equinox. So we'll do a form today that's oriented to the heart. Many of you have done this before. It's Qigong for the heart. We've done the Qigong warm-ups a whole bunch. We don't always then follow it with one of the forms, either for the heart or the kidneys or the marrow. So we're going to do Qigong for the heart today, including the Qigong warm-up. I don't need to talk anymore. Let's begin. So we can just find a nice, comfortable standing posture. And if you'd like, you can soften your gaze or close your eyes completely if that's available to you. And just take a few moments to orient and attune to the three treasures in this new posture. And if sitting is more appropriate or necessary for you, please feel free to do that as well. And so tuning in to the feet on the ground. I always like to lift my toes off the ground so that I can find the hard parts of the bottom of my feet. The hard parts of the bottom of the feet are where we're designed to hold our weight, especially the heels. So softening the knees, letting the weight settle down through the heels, and just taking a moment to notice, like, where is the weight in your feet? Is it in one foot more than the other? Is it in the balls of the feet, the back of the feet? If softening the knees and settling into the heels feels a little unsteady, you can always think about spreading the floor apart in between your feet. So you really anchor into the outer edges of the feet, and the knees might even gently move away from each other. I like to think of it as like standing in a narrow hallway, and I'm like pressing in to the edges of the walls where they meet the floor. And so you can really do that if you'd like, to really activate the legs and really feel the outer edges, almost where you can lift the big toe mound off the ground. So find that, and then you can also back off of the effort, so it's not as rigid or tense or effortful, but you kind of have the sensation that you're looking for, but rather than it being a 7 or an 8 out of 10, it can be a 2 or a 3. So 3 points of contact on the ground, which are the heels, the outer edge of the foot, and the big toe mound, which probably has the least amount of weight through it. Soft knees. Just tuning into the pelvis, to the hips. We don't need to tuck our pelvis forward. We can let the pelvis just be free, however it is. And we can, with our minds, follow the spine out of the pelvis, up into our rib cage. And I invite you to bring your breath into the lower backside of the rib cage. With your inhale, it's almost like you're breathing your lower back ribs up off of your kidneys, creating this lift and expansion across the backside of the ribs, which may feel awkward. It may feel difficult. It's not where we always direct our breath, which is kind of why we're doing it now. So breathing into the backside of the rib cage, then thinking about the collarbones, and even like lifting the collarbones up. And we're not really thrusting our chest forward. It's just thinking about almost from the back of our heads. We're lifting up and back through the back of our heads, and that pulls the collarbones up very slightly, very subtly. So again, lifting through the base of the skull, which invites a slight tuck to the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck, which can help lift the collarbones slightly so that they can spread and the shoulder blades can just settle onto the back of the rib cage. And then invite the breath underneath the shoulder blades, behind the heart. Spread the back of the rib cage wide as you breathe. Spreading the floor apart with your feet, anchoring down through the ankles. Like, this is a very active posture, just standing and breathing like this. There's even a little bit more to keep track of than can be kept track of, and that's also kind of the point. We're not supposed to be able to do it all really well all the time, but we're practicing at getting better at just attuning to these things regularly, continually coming back to them. Feeling the 3 points of contact on the ground, the weight distribution through our feet, making sure our knees are unlocked, breathing into the backside of the rib cage, lifting and expanding the ribs off of the lower back, lifting the base of the skull up and off of the neck and shoulders, engaging the sternocleidomastoid muscles, gently lifting and spreading the collarbones so the shoulders have space to move, so that the lungs have room to breathe. The heart has room to beat. The diaphragm is open and stretching so that the stomach and the liver aren't glommed onto it. There's room there for the organs to move. This is medicine. Standing and breathing, attuning to ourselves, attending to ourselves. No one else needs to do this for us. No one else can do it for us as well as we can do it for ourselves. This is empowerment. And again, with all of this posture awareness, we might feel a little engaged, a little tight. So seeing if you can maintain this awareness, but bringing the effort scale, exertion scale down, you know, from a 5, 6, 7 to a 4, 3, 2. And let's take a nice deep breath in together. And then exhale. And as you do, let the back of your palms come together. And we're going to inhale, bring the hands up. And then exhale, up and out, all the way around. The knees can bend slightly, your chin can move towards your chest, palms back to back. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Exhale out. One more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. This time, let your hands float up in front of the lower dantian, in front of the belly button. Middle fingers and ring fingers pointed slightly towards the belly button. And the arms aren't too far forward, they're just kind of hanging by the side, lifting through the back of the skull, breathing behind your heart. I like to think of the elbows, it's like we're holding elevator doors apart. It doesn't take much to do it, but it's not like there's no energy there. And on the next inhalation, inhale your hands up to your heart. And then exhale, press the palms forward. Inhale, open. Stretch the arms. As you exhale, send your hips back. So we hinge forward, the hands sweep down, the knees can bend as the hands come out, and then inhale yourself up. And then exhale, the hands float down the front of the body. As you inhale, press down through your hands. Reach up through the base of the skull, stretch. And then exhale, relax, bend the knees, the hands float up. Let's do this a couple times. So inhale, pressing down through the heels of the hands, the heels of the feet, reaching up through the base of the skull, stretch, and then relax. Sinking. We'll do a couple more. Inhale, stretch, and exhale. In. Push down through the hands, reach up through the base of the skull, and out. 3 more. Great job holding at the top of the inhalation. Let it charge up, activate everything, and then discharge. One more time. Stretch. Breathe natural as the hands float down to the level of the hips. We can bring our hands on either side of our hips. Palms can even turn up. Let's just take a breath here, catch our breaths. On the next inhale, chop the hips back as you inhale and the hands float out and around. Long, slow inhalation. As you exhale, bring the hands and the hips towards each other. So again, inhaling, hips back, weight in the heels. As the hands come around, lifting, lengthening through the back of the neck, exhale. Inhale. Hips leading the way. The knees are unlocked. Exhale. In. And out. 3 more. Inhaling like you're gathering up something, exhaling, drawing it in. 1 more. Inhale the hands out to the side. Exhale down. Palms back to back. Inhale up. Exhale, open. This time, the hands are at about shoulder level, palms facing towards each other. Elbows can be bent as much as they need to accommodate your shoulders and your neck, really lifting the base of the skull up off of the neck and shoulders. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, bring the hands together. Let's do that 2 more times. In and out. Like you're playing a giant accordion. In and out. This time, bring the hands close together until you're holding something about the size of a soccer ball or a volleyball or something. And then let's take this ball and we'll point it back at the lower dantian. So we've been here already. Soften the knees, spread the floor apart gently so that you can settle into your heels, the outer edges of your feet, knees moving away from each other, elbows holding elevator doors apart, base of the skull lifting off of the neck, chin slightly tucked, collarbones spreading, breathing behind the heart, the sides of the ribs. So much to keep track of. And relax. Maybe smile. On the next inhalation, let's inhale the hands up and out in front. And then we can exhale, the hands come down. Inhale up through the kidneys to the sides of the ribs, and then exhale like you're pushing a refrigerator away from you. Again, inhale. Exhale. In. Strong. Inhale, push from underneath your shoulders. 2 more. Inhale the hands out and up. Exhale, let the middle fingers come to rest in front of the third eye. Different shape, lifting the base of the skull off of the neck and shoulders. See if your shoulders can relax. If they're up high, can you let them relax? Maybe shrug them to just make sure they're loose. And then let's inhale and open the third eye. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale out and up. And then exhale over Bai Hui, the crown chakra, top of the head, the 1,000-petaled lotus. And again, lifting the base of the skull, lengthening the back of the neck, a slight tuck to the chin. And from here, we can let the hands float down the midline over the face, taking your time. And then the hands move down over the heart. Middle fingers and ring fingers pointed towards the heart center. The acupoint Dan Zhong, which means the center of the altar. Bring your awareness into your heart. Visualize your heart center like a candle flame, like a lotus flower, like a green ball of light, whatever works for you. And then we'll press the back of the palms together, rolling them together into the universal symbol of gratitude. Hands in front of the heart, head gently bowed towards the heart. The hands and the heart and the head all close together. There's some kind of meaning in that. We can point our fingertips away from us and let the hands extend out And then slowly, one at a time, separating the pinkies, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumbs, palms facing out in front. Taking a breath here, inhale. Exhale, let the hands float in towards the chest. On the inhale, the hips move back, the hands reach forward, back of the neck is long, and then exhale, hands move back to the chest. Moving like this, in. Stretch the hips back, away from the hands, out. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. 3 more. Knees are unlocked. Hips move back. Weight is in the heels. Last one. Let the hands float out and we'll make open circles. Just relax. Move the shoulders as much as possible. Make whatever size circles feel good to you. This is kind of a rest and recovery for our shoulders. And then let's bring the hands in to the heart center. Connect with the heart. Allow your mind to drop into your heart. Yi Dao, Qi Dao. And then the fingertips can move up the sternum and then underneath the collarbones, out to the shoulders. Little stretch. Tuck your chin, lift the base of your skull, long back of the neck. We'll turn the palms out. And then inhale, press. Exhale, relax. Like that. In, stretching, out. Like your whole body's a heart. Pumping. 3 more. Stretching for the walls on either side of you. Last one. And now the hands can float out. Backward circles. And just moving into the shoulder blade. The heart meridian and its paired meridian, the small intestine, are all around the shoulders. We need to have open and loose neck and shoulders so all of our arteries can pump. And then let's inhale up. And exhale to Bai Hui. And then down over the face, over the heart, guiding the energy all the way down into the lower dantian. Fold one hand over the other, over the lower dantian. Feeling the sensation of your hands on your belly. Allow your breath and your mind to be under your hands, deep in the lower dantian. And then we can bring our hands around our waists to our lower backs. And then send the hips back so the upper body hinges. The hands can slide down the back of the legs. And then coming behind the knees, and just take a moment to hang out with your hands behind your knees. Maybe thinking about your hips moving back. So if the weight is in the balls of your feet, think about it settling back into your heels, reaching the hips back, lifting the base of the skull away from the neck and the shoulders, tuning in to the backside of your knees. And then from here, after you take a nice breath in, you can just exhale all the way down, over the top of the feet, and then inhale up. Coming up the front of the legs, back to the lower dantian. Breathing. So now we're going to do most of what we just did in reverse. So the hands can come down by the sides, and then we'll inhale out, and we'll make forward circles. Taking your time, breathing, feeling what it feels like, making any adjustments you need so that you can move comfortably. And then the arms can come out shoulder level, and we'll inhale and stretch. This time, as you exhale, really make beaks with your fingers, pull your elbows into the sides of the body, the knees can even more move towards each other, a little penguin pose. And then inhale, stretch. Exhale, draw it all in. Bring yourself out with the stretch and the breath, and then in again. Two more. Last one. Inhale. Inhale deeper. And then exhale. Inward circles. Breathing, resting. Allowing the energy to move, to circulate in your chest, in your shoulders, in your neck, out your arms. Creating space around the heart. Fire needs space. You know, think about a candle. You put something over it, it goes out. You want room. Room to be. And then the hands can come in front. We'll take a breath. And then exhale, the hands flow back. So this time it's a little different. We do a slight back bend. I'll demonstrate first so you can see. So very gently, as you inhale, the hands and the head move away just as far as is comfortable, and then we exhale. So we'll begin. Inhale, stretching, exhaling. If it's better for your neck to keep your chin tucked, you can do that. And exhale. If it feels okay to stretch back and stretch the neck muscles, you can do that. In and out. Take your time. Two more. Last one. Let the hands float up. And then bringing them to Bai Hui, the top of the head. The hands can float down the midline. This time we'll bring the fingertips to the level of the third eye. And then with your fingers, touch your third eye in between your eyes. And then slowly drawing both fingers over each eyebrow. And then down the side of the face in front of the ear. Come underneath the ear and drawing the fingertips up the back side, just behind the ear, which will bring you back up to Bai Hui. And then both fingertips tracing down the back of the skull, coming to the base of the skull, underneath our occipital protuberance, and then tracing the back of the neck down to the base of the neck. Bring the hands around the base of the neck. Middle fingers tracing down the center of the sternum over the heart center. Bringing the fingers underneath the chest. And then, if you can, reaching up behind the heart and tracing down the spine. Bringing the hands down to Ming Men, the backside of the lower dantian, over the kidneys. We can bring our hands around the waist to the lower dantian. Feeling our hands on our bellies, allowing our breath to move underneath our hands, allowing our minds to be with our breath. under our hands in our lower dantian. And then the hands can separate, and sliding down the front of the legs, sending the hips back, weight in the heels, our hands can come to our knee joints, and we can take a moment to just settle here, make sure our hips are reaching back, our weight is in our heels, back of the head is lifting so the neck is long, breathing in between the shoulder blades behind the heart, taking a nice breath in. And as you exhale, you can go down as far as you'd like. The hands can come around to the back of the legs, and slowly inhaling as you pull yourself up, your hands moving up the back of the legs, over the hips, and coming back to the back side of the lower dantian. And we can bring our hands back around to the front of the lower dantian. From here, let's inhale our hands out and up, palms together over the head. Really stretching. If you'd like, you can interlace all your fingers except your index fingers and your thumb, and we'll take a breath, reaching up through the fingertips, down through the base of the heels. As you exhale, you can lean over towards the mirrors, stretching the underarm, the side of the body. Inhale through center. Get long and tall through center, and then exhale over towards the windows. Again, inhale. Exhale towards the mirrors. Feeling the stretch on the side of the body to the armpit. Inhale. Reach. Exhale. Lengthening. Side of the body stretch. One more each side. In. And out. In. And out. Inhale to center. Exhale, fingers towards Bai Hui. Inhale, open. And exhale, hands shoulder level. Now we're making clouds. So window hand comes up, mirror hand makes a beak. The window hand settles towards the heart. We shift our weight towards the mirrors. And like we're taking all the clouds from our chest and just send them out, up into the sky. There's a weight shift. When we can't go any further with our window hand, it becomes the beak. And our mirror hand turns up, floats up, and we can return to the center. And then a weight shift towards the windows. Send the clouds up into the sky. The mirror hand becomes the beak. The window hand floats up and brings us back to center. Weight shift. Send the clouds out into the sky. Make rain. And then centering. So this movement can be like a gentle meditation, just reaching out. As the hand reaches its extension, it becomes the beak. The other hand turns up, and we flow to center, and sink, and weight shift, and send the clouds out into the sky, and switch sides. Sending the clouds out, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Just finding your way with this. Last one on each side. Switch. Center. Sending out the clouds. And then from here, we'll inhale the hands up. Returning to Bai Hui. Let the hands float down the midline, coming in front of the heart. And again, lifting the toes, finding the hard parts at the bottom of the feet. Elevator doors being held open with our elbows, lifting through the base of the skull, spreading the collarbones. Breathe behind the heart, underneath the shoulder blades. Nice and wide and expanded with the rib cage. Press the back of the palms together. Then folding the palms together. Fingertips out in front, sending the hands out. Opening one at a time, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and thumb. The hands can float back to our chest. We'll take our right hand, send it out, make a circle like you're scooping something up, reach back as far as you can, see if you can touch your shoulder blade, and then draw the hand just under the collarbone. Left hand, sending it out, scooping everything up, touching the shoulder blade, coming back under the collarbone. So now we're going to make the healing sound for the heart, which is ka. And we'll do it 3 times. And as you make the sound, see if you can allow your throat to be open. See if you can feel the vibration of the sound in your heart. So we'll do it 3 times, taking our time. Big breath in. Pause for a breath. Breathing into your heart center, visualizing your heart organ, visualizing your heart energetic. Allow the sound to nourish and soothe and heal your heart. Again, big breath in. Pausing for a breath, allowing the energy to sink deep into your heart. One more time. Inhale. Breathe deep into your heart. Send the hands out in front and then unwind. Bring the palms together. Hands back in front of the heart. And then we'll send the hands up. Fingertips towards Bai Hui. And we'll trace our way back. So making a circle, moving back and then opening around. Bring your fingertips to the third eye. Take a breath. On the exhale, like you're swimming, like the breaststroke, sending the hips back, the hands come around, fingertips to the sides of the ribcage, to the liver and the spleen. Take a breath. On the exhale, another breaststroke, hips back, hands come around to the kidneys, backside of the lower dantian. Taking a breath. Inhale, the hands come out in front, and then exhale, coming to float in front of the lower dantian, where we began. And again, just finding a way of being here that's easy. Soft knees, finding the outer edge of the feet and the heel bones, lifting the base of the skull off of the neck, So there's a slight tuck to the chin. The collarbones lift slightly. Breathing wide across the chest, especially the back side, underneath the shoulder blades, behind the heart. Feeling yourself lifted like the rib cage and the arms are a hot air balloon, and the pelvis and the legs are like the basket hanging off of the balloon. And just make any adjustments you need as you're standing here. Like, do you need to have your arms further away, a little closer in, elbows further down, further up, knees deeper or less bent? Like, it can be subtly dynamic. But just be here for a few breaths. There may even be a little bit of challenge, a little bit of discomfort. Just breathe with that. It's amazing, our ability to deal with discomfort or complexity or intensity. Despite all the things they try to sell us to make us not have to feel anything. It's okay to feel things. Just relax. Breathe with your whole body. And as you're ready, let's take a deep breath in together. Exhale, let your hands float down. Inhale, let's close towards the mirrors. Inhaling up, feet closer together. And then exhaling slowly, as many breaths as it takes. With your hands, guide your mind down. Down through your heart. Allow the mind and the heart to settle deep into this ocean of the lower dantian, the hands settling over the belly, breath moving deep into the body. And then your hands can come around your waist and down. And you can relax your posture so that it's easy. And again, but just take a moment after you've relaxed, settle in again. Attuning to your three treasures, to the alignment of your body between heaven and earth, the movement of the breath energy through your body. Attending to the focus and the quality and the intention of your mind. Just drifting, feeling the effects of this practice. Breathing with the whole body. Blood carrying oxygen, carrying chi to every cell of the body. Every cell of the body exchanging chi with the universe, breathing in and breathing out, breathing through. Allowing your body to be nourished. Remembering that this is medicine that you've made for yourself. For your benefit and for the benefit of everyone, everything. then as you're ready, we can shake that out a little bit. And then we can rub our palms together. And let's massage our faces up and down a couple times. And back and forth over the top of the head a couple times. Down the back of the neck and around. Over the chest, the lower ribs and the belly. Around the waist to the lower back. Draw the hands out. Shake them out. Let's pat up one arm. And down. Up the other side. And down. And then around and down the back side of the legs. Up the front. One more time, around and down. And up. And then we can bounce a little bit, shake it out. And let's do 3 deep, contented sighs of relief in honor of the summer solstice. A big, joyful, heart-based sigh of relief. So a big breath in. Two more. One more. Breathe deep. Exchanging chi with the universe. Great. Thank you so much for your practice. Okay. Well, just a brief announcement. Next week, there won't be class, because I have an appointment that I wasn't able to make it happen any other time, but when this class is happening. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back. So if you'd like a recording of this class, let me know. And otherwise, yeah, I hope you have a wonderful solstice, the peak of summer, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's very hot. There's a lot going on. So it's not like we need to be out being fire. We can actually kind of balance that, be the candle flame that's still and resting, but still illuminated, and warmth and joy and all of that. And intention with even the stuff that you think isn't important, because that's probably the most important stuff that there is. Okay, thank you again. Thank you for practicing with me. Have a wonderful 2 weeks. Right. And thanks all on Zoom. Thank you for practicing. Have a great couple weeks. We'll see you in 2 weeks.